And we are up and running, DJ, so we're ready to go.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
When I
morning.
look at this group, I need help with any scripts. So why don't we just do some practice? Let's start with Ken. You want to start and tell us what you would like to practice on with?
Well, I'm driving, so it's a little difficult, but I'll be at a stationary location in about 15-20 minutes.
Okay. All right, Donna, then you're on. What do you want to talk about? Did I lose you? All right, Charles. What do you want to talk about?
And I'm also texting a group of people that I know are practicing scripts, not like this second, but they have been starting to practice scripts. So I just text them and said, DJ's doing scripts. Pop it. So more people are coming in soon.
Okay. I don't know what you guys want to do until you tell me what you want to do. So Sandra, what would you like to do? What kind of scripts would you like to practice? You're on mute.
Expires or for sale by owners?
Expires or for sale? Okay. Okay. Is it okay if we start with expires and for sale by owners with everybody?
Yes.
Yes, I don't see anybody except Sandra. And okay, so first of all, let's talk about, have you been doing this, Sandra?
No, but now I feel like I have to.
Okay. Were any of you on the call yesterday with Randy Hurd?
I was.
Who is that?
Tiffany, number 2.
Oh, Tiffany. Hey, there you are, number 2. Okay. So this is a good thing because he was talking about that. Randy Hurd and his wife, Amanda, are icon agents. They have a team of 20. They had a team of 20 in Indianapolis. They just recently moved down here to Florida, over in Lakewood Ranch in the Sarasota area. And they disbanded their team up in Indianapolis, and they came down here not knowing anyone, and they decided that they were going to make their goal $1 million in GCI in 24. So think about that. $1 million in gross commission income. That's pretty amazing, right? So he's been here for 5 weeks, and he has gone on 2 listing presentations, one for 1.2 million, no, 1.5 million, and one for 1.1 million. And he's confident that he's going to take those listings the next couple of weeks. And he has a buyer that's looking for a $700,000 property. How does he do that, right? How did he do that in 5 weeks? Obviously, he has years of experience behind him, and he is actually, spending money to get leads. However, one of the things that he talked about was making phone calls and how important it is to make the phone calls. He says, and I believe too, it really isn't as important what you say as it is that you do that you make those calls. But we do need to have a little bit of an idea so we don't stumble whenever we're going to talk to somebody, right? So there are scripts out there all over the place. By the way, if you Google real estate scripts for expireds or real estate scripts for sale by owners, there are thousands of them out there. And I think you have to kind of look at all of them and say, okay, what fits me? If you're a high D, then you're going to go straight for the kill. If you're not, you're probably going to want to build a relationship there. So let's just pick an expired, let's make up an expired person and talk and think about, okay, are you going to call, Sandra, are you going to call expireds that have just expired? Are you going to go back 6 months? Are you going to go back 5 years? What are you going to do? What's your goal?
Let's say 6 months.
Okay. All right. So first step in expireds is decide who you're going to call. And that is really important. If you can't jump all over the place because you'll make yourself crazy. If you're calling people right now that their house expired yesterday, it's a whole different script than if you than if you call somebody that had their house on the market 6 months ago, or if 5 years ago. So let's talk about that. So
Okay.
let's role play. I'll be the client, you be the agent. So let's see what you say now.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sandra Jensen. I'm a local real estate agent here in Boca Raton. And I saw that you have your house on the market 6 months ago. And I was wondering what happened with that? It didn't sell.
Okay, so I'm going to pick you apart. All right. And then, and don't get your feelings hurt. Okay. You use the word I more than pretty much any other word. And if I don't know you and you're calling me about my house was on the market 6 months ago and it didn't sell, I don't care about you. Right.
Okay.
So you're going to have to actually think about every time you use the word I, you better be replacing that I or making it minimal in your script. So
Okay.
maybe you could say something like, hi, this is DJ Throgmorton, eXp Realty. Your house was on the market a couple of months ago. I think it was even 6 months ago. Do you mind explaining to me, did you decide you just didn't want to sell? Because that's what I do. I am a realtor that works with people that let me start again, because that's what I do. I work with people who weren't able to sell their home with the original realtor. So I really hate that you didn't get to sell your home. And I was just wondering, would you like to talk about it? Would you like to explain to me why you didn't and what I could do to help if you still want to sell?
Mhm.
So do you see the difference?
Yep.
Does everybody see the difference in that you don't want to say I am and I want and I can and I do until you get some kind of information from them.
Mhm.
I would probably do it a little bit more like this. Okay, let me be the realtor for a second. Hi, what's your last name, Sandra?
Jensen.
Mrs. Jensen, my name's DJ Throgmorton, and I'm with eXp Realty. Do you have a second?
Not really, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, I only have a couple of seconds too, but I was looking through my records and I saw that your property didn't sell. You had on the market a few months ago, is that right?
Yes.
Did you just decide to stay?
No, it didn't sell.
Oh, why?
Well, apparently, the price was too high. That's what my realtor told me, and that's why I didn't sell.
Okay, and so price is most important to you?
Absolutely.
All right, so that's why you're staying, because you're just going to stay in that house because of the price, right?
Yes. I really don't need to sell it. I have several houses,
Okay.
and I was trying to see if it will sell, but I'm not in a rush.
You don't care if
No,
it's
it's not that I don't care, but I'm not in a rush. I want somebody to pay me what I think is worth.
okay. So what were you asking for it?
2.5.
Okay. And so what did your agent tell you it was worth?
Below 2.
You know what? I did the market analysis before I called you, just in all fairness to tell it to you. And so right now on the market, your market value is about 1.9. And if we use the statistics that I have, so for you to get, is it 2.4? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
2.5, 2.4.
Okay. So I figure that it'll be that price about 2029. So that's okay.
What do you mean?
For the price raise for the price point that the market will bear,
Uh-huh.
It's going to take about 5 years for us to get to that place.
Oh, no, not really, because there's a lot of construction on this area and they're building these mansions.
Mhm.
So I know that I'm gonna get it sooner or later.
Okay, I understand. I'm just trying to be honest with you. New construction as opposed to properties that are as old as yours, it's a totally different market. And so, unless you're prepared to spend probably 500,000 or 600,000, I saw the pictures. Unless you want to spend 500,000 or 600,000 to get it up to where it can compete with one of the new mansions that are coming in, you're still looking at 4 to 5 years before it's going to be at your price point. And I'm just sharing information.
Mhm.
And I'm more than willing to just get off the phone and let you wait. And that's fine. I just want you to know, because the market is not moving that fast anymore. And, we're looking at a 7 to 10% increase, maybe per year. And so that's really not going to get you to where you want to be for several years.
Okay,
So-
thank you for the information.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
So do you know what I know about you now?
No.
You're not going to sell.
Oh.
So why would I beat my head against the wall? Right? Move on. You cannot have anything attached to these calls that you make. If they're interested and they bite, then go forward. Otherwise, put them in your database. And then before you hung up, I would say, hey, I got an idea. Why don't I send you an update on your area every maybe 6 months? Would you like that?
Okay.
Okay. So put you in my database, put you in my KB Core, put you on a 6-month notice that when your name pops up, I put together a market analysis. I send it over. And I'd probably do it about every 2 months, actually, if you wanted that listing. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Mm-hmm. But one question, what about like saying, well, we could try to list the house?
Okay. Couple of things about that. Do you think it'll
Mhm.
sell for that?
No,
Okay.
but at
So-
least my name is out there.
Okay, so your name goes out there that you are an agent that overprices homes,
Ah,
and then they don't sell. So now if I'm a
Gotcha.
neighbor and that house has been on the market for a year and I want to sell my house, I'm like, no, I'm not going to talk to her.
Yeah, got
That
it.
house has been on the market way too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
So it's just never a good idea to take overpriced homes. It just isn't, unless you go in with their understanding that we will do this. We'll put it on the market for 2.5. If it doesn't sell in 30 days, then what are you willing to reduce it to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not. Okay, then I'm sorry, I can't take this property. I can't take this listing. I can't jeopardize my reputation and put on a house that's this far over the market value. Now, it's worth 1.9. I'm totally good with putting it on at 2.1 and see what we can do, but not at 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just point back and say, we know what happened. Your agent before put it on the market at an unreasonable price and it didn't sell. So you could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you want to? So when you're dealing with expireds, you've got to realize that a lot of them are going to say no. And they're going to,
Okay.
because there are a lot of reasons the house didn't sell, right? And usually what is it? It was overpriced because the agent wasn't strong enough to negotiate with that person and to share with them the real truth of the matter. And because I'm going to tell you, as an agent in today's market, if you don't learn how to negotiate, you are not going to be in business very long. That you cannot just take a listing and let it sit out there. You cannot take a buyer out And they're going to find something just like that. And in today's world, they want you to negotiate for them in whatever, either it's the seller or the buyer's representative. And if you can't negotiate and you can't stand up for your client and yourself, they're going to find somebody else who can.
Mhm.
Okay.
Got it.
So what's another script? Who wants to play another script? Somebody have something come up in the last couple of weeks that they want to talk about? This is your time, guys. Okay, let me ask you this. How many of you would like to have a new client in the next 30 days? If I could see your face, I could ask you for your hands. Please come on, put your face on. Please, please. Please open up your camera so I can see you and tell me who would like to have that. Don't just chat, talk to me.
I would. My name
Who's
is Taz.
Taz, okay.
I
All
can't
right.
do my camera right now. I have my baby, which is changed.
All right. I'm going to tell you something you can do right now. Today, you can start doing this. Get out a piece of paper and a pen and write this down because this really, really works. I want you to either call your board, your real estate board, or get on their website and pull down a list of all the affiliates in your area.
All the what?
Affiliates, all of the vendors, all of the inspectors, the appraisers, the title companies, the insurance people, all those people. Get a list.
Okay.
And then I want you to prioritize them by what you think are the most important people you need to know.
Mm.
And then I want you to get on the phone. And here's what you do. You call and you say, Tiffany, I'm DJ Throgmorton. I am, if you're a new realtor, I'm a new realtor here in the area, and I haven't met with you. Do you have time for me to buy you a cup of coffee next week? I will guarantee you every single one of them will have time for you. So if you on the phone and you meet with, let me tell you, if you every day you meet with 2 vendors and you have 10 calls at 10 meetings, literally, if you can't meet them in person, then do a Zoom. But I'm going to tell you what's going to work the best. You find a little coffee shop that not a Starbucks, not a Panderas, not an Einstein's, not any of those big things. You find a small coffee shop, mom and pop place. You can sit down at a table. They wait on you. You don't go stand in line for a cup of coffee. You go and you meet them there. You sit down at a table together and you talk. And you ask them to tell you about their business. Now, granted, they may not say, oh, I have a ton of clients for you, but they are going to respect the fact that you wanted to meet with them. And when you say at the end, I've completed all of my training. I hear the baby. I work with a lot of agents that have a lot of experience. So please don't be afraid to give me any referrals. Do you know anybody that you think in your sphere of influence that would like to buy or sell? Somebody, I promise you, somebody out of like, okay, so we have, so if you do 2 a week for 4 weeks, so that's 40 people, right? Is my math right? 40 people. Somebody in that list is going to have somebody for you to work with. And it's going to be a warm referral. I coach a $20 million producer. And at the beginning of this year, she said, I really want to have more time. I need to get more, some more focus in my business and whatever. And so I said, do you know all of the inspectors in town? And do you know all the title companies in town? And she said, well, no, just the ones I use. And I said, okay, start with the ones you use and ask them if they'll help you. Tell them, I am looking to be more focused, work with people that are referrals from people I know, and to build a good relationship with the people that are in my industry. Would you like to work with me? As of today, because I asked her yesterday, as of today, 16 of the sales that she had this year have been referrals from inspectors, videographers, photographers, and I think a title company. So they know lots of people too, and nobody asked them. Now, a lot of agents will tell them, if you want my business, you have to give me referrals. Well, don't be like that. That's terrible. But if you ask them if they'll help you, and you spend the time to actually meet with them, and you pay for their coffee, they are going to remember you, because everybody's hand is out. Every realtor's hand is out. What can you do for me? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? Take the other side of that coin and say, what can I do for you? And if I get business, I really want to use you. So you're not only asking for help, but you're building your stable of people that can be on your team, because you may like this inspector really well, and you always want to use him. Well, what if he's sick? What if he's out? What if he's overwhelmed? Do you have a secondary? Do you have a third person that you're going to use? You should. What about photographers? Do you have a photographer that photographs everything? You have a photographer that does a $150,000 house, and that's what he does, and then you get $1 million listing and you ask him to do the $1 million listing? Or do you have a photographer that specializes in $1 million plus listings, or $10 million plus listings? You need to actually get involved, get out of your house, meet some people that are into your industry and that have a database. Those people have been in this area, in your area, for a long time. So I promise, if you do that, you will get a client in the next 30 days. Any comments, Robert? Are you still here? He left us. Any comments? Donna?
It'll work. I'm sorry. I'm not going to bore you with the chaos that's happening at my house, but it'll work. And it's the most fabulous thing when someone gives you a referral. The first time I got one, I think I was on a high for like 2 weeks. And it works. Honestly, people don't, you think everybody takes them to coffee and asks them for referrals? They don't.
They don't.
It'll work.
Now an agent will pick up the phone and call, an inspector and say, will you spend $100 and for my broker's open?
And then they spend it and you never call them again and you don't build any kind of relationship.
Right.
It's a lot of work, these relationships, I've discovered, right? So I guess I don't know what I thought, but as the more people I'm adding, like peripheral people, not just clients, like George said, thank goodness he taught me his system, because it is a lot of work to keep these relationships going.
It is.
But if you could do it, it will pay off.
It will. And it's kind of fun to meet new people, and if you are, especially if you're new and you don't know these inspectors, you don't know the attorneys, you don't know the title companies, you don't know the photographers, then you get a listing. What do? Now you go running and asking somebody to help you. Who do you use? Well, maybe you don't want to use that person. Maybe that's not a good fit for you. But if you've done your due diligence and you've met with these people, then you have an idea of who they are. And go to the broker of opens, meet other realtors, go to the board events, meet other realtors. And at every one of those events, you're going to meet, inspectors and title reps and all kinds of stuff. And And then when you're on the phone with him, you can easily say, or you're having, I would say when you're having coffee with him, you can easily say, by the way, do you do any marketing material, have any marketing materials or anything that I could use that would help me build my business? And there are title companies out there that have demographic programs that you can build your farm. If you are not farming in this market, you are really losing out. That's what Randy was saying too yesterday, is have a farm. Have a geographical farm that you're sending mailings out to. It doesn't have to be fancy, and it doesn't have to be every month. It could be every other month if your finances are that tight, but it has to be professional. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Go into the marketing part of EXP, use their cards, put your stuff in there, put something about you in there. And if you've been on calls before, I have talked about that. If you don't have a charity, if you don't have something you give back to, find one and put that on your card. If you are supporting a no-kill shelter for animals, or if you're supporting a school, or if you're supporting a soccer team, or if you're doing any of that, put that on your mailers that go out. Make yourself personable, make yourself human, make yourself somebody they want to know. Put yourself something on those cards, but start a geographical farm. So if you meet with a First International title person, a First American title person, a Fidelity title person, I think also Stewart title person, and then some of the smaller ones as well. They have a geographical program that's free. And you can go in and you can choose a neighborhood, pull down the names, pull down the addresses, pull down the telephone numbers if there's there, and make your own mailing list and start sending things out. And Randy was saying the 1.5 listing that he's getting was from one of those mailings. And when the guy called him from the mailing and said, yeah, I'm thinking about putting my house on the market, that Randy said, would you like me to do a full workup on your house so that you know exactly what everything's worth, and then I'll bring it by? And he's like, you'll do that? Yeah, I'll do that. And so that's brought it by, left, kind of went over a few pieces with it, left that with him and said, now let's make an appointment where we can talk about listing your house. Do you want to do that? Yeah, I do. Nobody else ever did this for me. Be the agent that nobody else ever did this for me, right? You gotta stand out. And this is not about scripts, and I'm not doing scripts unless you tell me what you want to do a script on. But I will kind of tell you how to run your business. Yes, Pam, it is being recorded. And I think I sound like an idiot because I'm talking all this time. Somebody,
It's okay, DJ. You're fine. So we're just soaking all your knowledge in. So I'm not far enough in. So I've always done open houses, always, and I'm successful at those. But in the last 6 months, I added calling. Okay. And I'm calling from these Google Word ads, right?
Yeah.
So it's not cold calling, but it's pretty close to cold calling.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you have some general advice, I read the scripts. I haven't found one that really rings with me, but transitioning from in-person, converting like a disc profile, and I talk to them on their level and I convert it. And then doing that on the phone, I'm finding is so different, and I'm just not getting, it's not happening for me really. I don't know. Do you have any good advice for that?
Actually, what was it? Hold on a second. I was yesterday or day before yesterday, I was on a call with Jennifer Jones. I don't know if any of you know who Jennifer Jones is, but she's an Icon agent. And she was talking about NLP with I can never say that word, neuralistics things. So
Neuro-linguistic.
yes, thank you.
Neuro-linguistic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, neuro-linguistic programming.
There you go, Ken. Thank you. And so she was talking about, how do you know if you are not with them, because there's a thing about being personally involved, right? Personal, that you can read their body language, you can read their aura. That sounds kind of California-y, but you can, right? But she was saying that if you're on a Zoom call, and you want to know what their love language is, for lack of a better word, if they are a visual learner and you ask them a question, they look up. If they're an audio learner, verbal, and you ask them a question, they'll usually look to the side. And if they use their hands, if they're a kinetic person, they're going to look down to answer your question. Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting because I am a visual learner and people always tell me that I'm always looking up. They're always like, you're always looking up. I'm like, well, I'm envisioning things.
So I don't know, that didn't have anything to do with what you said, but whatever. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. But some of the things that Rodney said yesterday, and I will share some of those with you, is, oh, I love this. I'll share this with you. And this should really make an impact on you. So he said, how do people choose realtors? And we all know, if you look at the stats, that most people that use their realtors, it's the first person they ever talk to. First person that goes in to take a listing gets a listing. First person that they meet to when they're looking for a property is their buyer's agent. So he said, but when you're doing calls, that you have to remember, think about it like this: hardware store. Have you ever broke something out of something and you needed to replace it? There's a little spring, there's a little knob, there's a little something, and you go into Ace Hardware and you've got that broken one with you. So, oh, okay, bye. And you take it into the hardware store, and somebody comes up to you and says, may I help you? And you say, oh no, I just need to replace this. What aisle would I find it on? And they tell you, and you go in there up to the aisle, and there are hundreds of these little things in different sizes, different colors, different, whatever. And you're like, I don't know which one it is. So the next person that comes by that works there, you grab them and you say, can you help me? That's how it works when you're making phone calls. The one that calls at the right time, says the right thing in the right place, is the one that gets that lead. It has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personal when they don't use you. They just aren't right there right now. And so just keep in mind that hardware store when you're making phone calls. It just, when they're ready and they want that thing and you're there, you're going to get the job, assuming you're professional about it. But his thing was, I'll give you these sources that he said. If you want the first 3 sources that he says for getting business right now, number 1 is open houses, just like you said, Donna. 2 are Google AdWords, and 3 is farming. 3 is farming. Okay, so when he does open houses, now think about this. When he does an open house, he doesn't let them go take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. Nope. He walks along with them. He has a piece of paper. He writes things down. So what do you like? Is this something that you would want in your house? Blah, 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 all that kind of just talking. All right, there. And then he tells them, I am giving away an iPad. Once every 6 months, I give away an iPad from all the people that have been in my open houses. So would you like to register? He said, everybody registers for an iPad. And so what they register for an iPad, that now you might not want to do $1,000 iPad. Maybe you want to do something cheaper, but you're giving something away that has value. And so once they do that, then he puts them on his contact management program. He keeps in touch with them once a week, and something goes out and says, I know you're still looking for a house. And I'd be more than happy to be your buyer's agent and help you. And by the way, our drawing for the whatever is on whatever. And it's on Facebook Live that he does the drawing and he pushes everybody to the Facebook page. So they're constantly looking to see, oh, when is that drawing? When is that drawing? Oh, yes. So he picks up clients like that. I think that's genius. Comments? Anybody?
I think that's a great idea because I never did that before. I do open houses all the time, and you always hope they're going to contact you or go to your page or whatever. But this is a great idea.
Yeah. So why not, right? So let's talk about some ideas. What could we do that doesn't cost $1,000 that we could do as a giveaway that people would want?
Well, one of the things that I thought of in terms of ideas, maybe it's not pertaining to open houses, but I told one of the girls that I hang, Alithia, I told Alithia that yesterday that when I was talking to one of the coffee shop, I told them to give me a bunch of coupons from their restaurants and that I was going to be spreading them around the neighborhood with, whenever I do door knocking. So she gave me about 50 coupons. And I told her, just let me know if anybody comes in with the coupon so I can know that it's been helping you. And I told her, can I drop my cards there in her job? And she said, that'll be perfect. So she was more grateful for the fact that I was asking for the coupons, spreading her business, and then I put my card there. And this, I would say about a month later, she told me when we went to get some coffee or a drink, she told me that she has a seller that's thinking about selling her home, and I recommended you. She's gonna tell me for sure if they're gonna sell, and if he does, he's gonna tell me to contact you their home. And it was just me trying to help them in terms of getting their business spread because they're like a pop-up mom, like the way you say it. It's not a franchise. I'm helping them build their business up in the town that we live in by getting coupons, and she appreciated. And there's other realtors has their cards in the same area that she does, but she's recommending me because I'm spreading her business. So it's more like, I'm here, I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to do the best I can to help you. And, if you can help me, I didn't do it like, if I help you, you better help me. I just told her, let me help you. Because by giving coupons, it looks like I'm a realtor that is using local stores and people are going to be able to know. So I use it as a benefit just to, that I'm local. I know business around town, but I don't use it where she has to help me. And with that kind of, I helped her in a sense of spreading some of her business. And now she's trying to help me, and it's just coming out of it's not coming forced. It's just us helping each other because we want to help each other.
Right. So you're giving to get.
Yeah, I'm giving, and then and if I get, I get. If I don't, It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just to give, and then it's not really technically. It's not. I'm not spending any money at all. I'm getting her coupons.
Right.
And then I'm spreading her.
Who are you are you doing that at open houses? You're giving away the coupons?
No, I'm not doing it in open houses. I drop off like little packages to when I door knock, like a little boxes. And then within that box, I put the coupon inside.
Okay.
So in the box, I put like a lot of information about myself, about things in the neighborhood. And with her coupon, it kind of shows it's not just about real estate. It's, you can get some stuff from it too. So with that, I just put more stuff in the box to promote it.
Good idea. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else have some ideas to share with the group? Ken, are you at a place you can talk?
Yes.
You're
Yes,
on
I'm
screen
here.
twice.
Yeah, I'm on my phone and I logged into my computer.
So what do you do that works?
I really haven't spent time lead generating through conversations. I mean, the business that I've done is through referrals, which is kind of a different conversation, as opposed to, you know, when you're referred, the person who's referring you oftentimes knows, likes, and trusts you, and they're telling their friends that this is the person that you should use to sell your home or buy a home. So it's a different conversation. One of the reasons why I bought the book, What to Say, is because what I'd like to do is to start, I'd like to start selling to people that I don't know, just like learning, you know, I come from having a manufacturing company for 30 years. So, and I was in sales most of that time. So my scripts, even though they weren't recorded, after saying them thousands of times, I knew what to say, when to say it, how to say it, whether I was in the field or at a trade show or traveling overseas. So this is kind of different in the way that it's a different conversation. Although then I was selling product, now I'm selling more of a service or information. And so I really have to get up and running and learn and practice scripts, whether it's for sale by owner or expired, or just people that I meet every day. And I'm just not practiced in it. And I know that that is an area that I need to be really good and proficient at if I want to succeed.
Right. So would you do me a favor? So many new agents are afraid to talk to their sphere. They're afraid to talk to the people that they know, to tell them that they're doing real estate now and ask for business. How did you talk to your people that you know, and they then referred you? What did you say to them?
It's interesting because I'm trying to remember how they get to know me. It's just like, oh, I understand that you that you sell real estate. Do you think you could list my home? So it's like, yeah.
So how did they find out? How did they find out that you were selling real estate?
Through another friend. I mean, it was just like I didn't really have to do much.
Okay.
So now I really have to be really good at creating conversations. Just to give you an idea, my son, who worked in my company for 7 years and then developed his own thing in a completely different industry. I call it that he's a master at what he does, and that he's gifted. And he said, I don't think so. I just worked unbelievably hard at mastering what it is that I do, so I could have a conversation with anyone. And so he goes into the bagel store, and the person at the bagel store knows exactly what he does. The shoemaker knows what he does. The car wash guy knows what he does. He develops hundreds of sources every year just by being great at creating conversation and relationships. And there is no stone that he doesn't. I mean, I'm not kidding. His kid goes to the JCC, my grandson. He's already selling them. He's an energy broker. He's already got the contract for their energy for the building, because as he's dropping off, he says, I'd really like to earn your business. I'm an energy broker, and I'd like to study your energy. And he makes an appointment, does the dog and pony show, and walks away with the contract. So my point is that he's amazing at what he does. And I have to learn from my son, who I trained for 7 years. Now I'm learning from him that you have to talk to everyone, because you don't know who's going to be that person.
That's awesome. So now that you have you talked to everyone in your sphere?
No, not even close. And you know, what I'm in the process of right now is working on my database. And one of the, you know, with the hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've met over the years, all of the people, I have phone numbers. I've never taken an email address. So, yeah, I mean, and now to go back and say, hi, you know, we haven't spoken in 10 years, you know, it's been, you know, I'm so sorry I haven't kept in touch. And this is what I'm doing. And if I, you know, it feels like an awkward conversation as opposed to people that I just meet every day in the world.
Okay. Well, I'm going to challenge you on that one.
Okay.
And let's talk about how many people are in your contact list?
I would say a couple of thousand.
Okay. So let's just say 1,000, right?
Okay.
So if you have 1,000 people in there, and the statistics are that about that 20% of your database is going to be doing some real estate transaction or know someone doing a real estate transaction within the next 12 months. So we're talking about 20%, that's 200 deals in the next 12 months. Now you can either have them or you can let them find their own person. Or, so you could work your database smart, or you can go out and try to meet new people, try to develop a relationship, and then try to get their business. Okay, so which could take you quite a while. If I were coaching you, I would say, okay, Ken, we need to work the database. So let's put together a plan. How many people are you going to call a day? How many people are you going to contact? And you have a perfect reason to call just from what you said. All you say is, okay, hey, Ken, it's DJ Throgmorton. We haven't talked for so long. And I was going through all of my contacts because I just opened up a real estate business. And I realized I don't have your email. Where are you now? What are you doing? How easy is that?
Yeah, I mean, that conversation, to open it up like that doesn't sound, you know, the part that I feel uncomfortable about is if I'm not authentic. In other words, yeah. So by me saying basically what you're saying, I feel fine about that.
Yep. It's all you have to do. It doesn't matter if you haven't talked to them in 20 years. I was going
a lot of them, I'm not kidding, and I haven't. And so, I mean, I would say, let's say out of 1,000 people, I could probably, let's say that I could probably have maybe 150 out of 1,000 people as a database, probably. If I really went through it, and these are the people that I know, that I've done business with, that we've had some kind of some kind of relationship with over the years, I could probably maybe do 150 out of 1,000, which is, in my opinion, a pretty good database.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and that's 30 deals a year right there. And what's your price point where you are, Ken?
Somewhere around 400,000. Okay.
So if we say, so let's say your commission on that's going to be, let's just for round numbers, 9,000. So 9,000 times 30, that's 270,000 gross commission income that are sitting there in your database that you're not calling. Right?
Yep.
Or you can go out and try to meet new people. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and meet new people. You should go out and meet new people, and you should have a goal of adding at least 10 people a week to your database. Everybody that should be your goal, at least 10 people.
10 people per week?
Per week. Some people that are really motivated will do 10 a day. But at least 10 people, whether that's a phone call, that's going out and meeting them in person, And we were talking about using the mom and pop coffee shop whenever you meet with the vendors. If you're in that same coffee shop and it's a mom and pop place where people go all the time, you're in that same coffee shop every day, 5 days a week, meeting with somebody new, people are going to be curious. And at some point, somebody's going to walk over and say, "You're here all the time. What do you do?" So you're going to expand your database that way as well. So George Philbeck, get on there and say something smart. Open it up.
Good morning. Wow, talk about pressure. When we're talking about database, the Ken, that what immediately jumps out, and I'm coming in late. I just wanted to say hi. I've been prospecting, calling my database. If you don't have an email address, it's easy. It's first off, Ken, I want to validate what you're saying. It's hard to call and say, "Hey, how are you? We haven't spoken in 10 years. And what's your email address?" I mean, I promise not to spam you more than 3 or 4 or 7 times a day for the next 16 years. Right. So that's awkward. And I've always believed that this is unfortunately a process. And here's the cool part, Ken. They're not going to know it's a couple months away before, or a month away before you're really starting to prospect them, because they haven't heard from you in 10 years anyway. So you're not going to upset them by slow rolling this out. And you'll find that actually the relationships and the conversations go fairly easily, usually not the first call. But if you were to call them up and just apologize, and I've always been an advocate of this, you know, if it were you and I, "Hey, Ken, it's George Philbeck, blah, blah, blah. We go into that niceties. I sold a home for you 10 years ago. Hey, listen, I just wanted to apologize because the truth of the matter is, as a professional, my mission would always be to keep you informed and keep you educated on what's going on in the market. But more importantly, I kind of felt like we were creating a friend, and I let the world get in the way. Anyway, I just wanted to call and apologize, tell you that I'm very, very sorry about that you deserve more from me. And that's about it. They're going to be like, all right, that's kind of cool. And when they hang up, I promise you, they'll be like, that was a really cool call. And now you can call them again, because what you're doing is you're trying to be purposeful and keeping in touch with the people that you genuinely like. A month down the road, this conversation is, "Hey, Ken, I came across something. I want to email it over to you. It's about the real estate market, but it's relevant to everybody, homeowners like yourself, and really anybody. I think it's some value. What's your email address? I'll shoot it over. I'd love for you to take a look at it if you want to." "Oh, well, it's, 1234 callken@gmail.com. However you decide to phrase that doesn't really matter. But the idea is, if you're coming from a contribution of value after you've re-engaged the conversation, you're all set. And as far as smart, that's it. I used up all my smart right now. I'm back to just being pretty.
So a question for you. Most of the database is from the north. It's not from Florida. So I'm assuming that what I would be looking for from them is referrals from their friends who are moving here, or that have already moved here.
No, at some point, Ken, that's a great question too. At some point, and I do this thing for my friends in Connecticut, my friends in Illinois, when I'm having conversations with them, I'm like, "Listen, if you've got a friend that's a friend, has to be a friend of yours," because I only do this for people that I really care about. If they're a friend of yours, I speak real estate. If they're relocating, they're moving somewhere, they need to make sure they get the right agent, or they will absolutely get screwed, period. And because I know what they're going to be looking for, if they're moving into a new area, they don't want a listing agent. They want somebody who's an expert that works with buyers, and I can interview them for them. There's no cost, no fee, nothing. But that way we assure that your friend is safe. Otherwise, they are at risk. If they're working with a selling agent, they're going to shut them off to somebody else. They're going to get crappy service. And that's not fair to anybody that's a friend of mine, for you particularly. But if you have a friend, I want you to make a text introduction, and I'll interview the agents for them and bring them 3 that are great. That's your conversation with the Northerners.
So I have to think at some point that they believe that there's some level of compensation to us for doing that. Do you disclose that on the front end of it, or you just don't mention it?
I disclose it by saying that it doesn't cost, there's no fee to them whatsoever, and they're going to have the right agent working for them. And the thing is, if I'm referring somebody, you can rest assured when it comes time to make an offer, I'm going to want to review the comps for them as well, because I want to make sure that they're informed. And I don't trust anybody but me in analyzing numbers for family and friends.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Do you stay in touch with them with, aside from email and text and phone, do you ask for their home address and start to do, whatever, Thanksgiving mailings or?
I do in the local market. I wouldn't do that for New York. Don't do it in New York or Connecticut. But if you've got a local market, people definitely get their address. You don't really need to ask them because we're real estate professionals. You just go in the tax records. If they're renting, ask them and say, hey, listen, I want to include you in my monthly mailers. They're really informative. They'll bring you good information. And I want to make sure that I'm providing you with a high level of service. Would you mind if I get the address of the house you're renting?
Would you set them up on like an AM cards or a,
No,
one of
I
those?
use amplified. Can I use amplified mail for that? And I do a monthly postcard that is a just sold postcard that looks exactly like this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly like this. And it never changes. The only thing that changes is the front picture and the front text. And you can set that up in anywhere you want to. And if you have them in whatever database you use, I use KV Core because it's free and it's awesome. I export the people that have a hashtag in my world, hashtag monthly postcard. Those are my seller leads, my database of people that I'm communicating with, and anybody that I think might benefit from seeing my face once a month saying, hey, I just sold another home. Basically, everybody that's in my database that's part of my sphere. And it costs me 69 cents per postcard shipped and delivered, mailed with their address and name on it. Amplifiedmail.com. And in fact, all of that information is in GPS Global Partners and the database class. Everything I just said is in there as well. So you can go and review it from that.
Okay, great. Thanks, George.
You got it, brother. And by the way, side note, do you have any family over in Israel? Any family or friends over there?
Yeah,
How are
friends, dozens. Well, thank God. I mean, of the hundreds of people that I know and their families, there isn't one person so far that had, so.
God, thank God.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry for doing that, but Ken and
Thanks for
I, we've
asking.
got a long relationship and a long history, and he's extraordinarily faith-based. And I selfishly did not reach out to him, so I do owe him an apology call. But since I saw him, I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to tell him I'm praying for his friends and for everybody over in Israel. So from me to you, my brother, God bless you, and God bless
Thanks
your
so
family
much,
and friends.
George. Appreciate
You got
it.
it, my friend. Absolutely.
Thank
How was that? How did I do? Was that smart?
You
Yeah.
are smart. So one more smart thing. Tell us, why does the postcard never change except the picture?
Doesn't have to. That's a great question. So on the postcard, there's no address. There's no price. The only thing that's on the postcard is Jackie and George, which basically means that beautiful woman, Jackie, and some guy standing behind her sold another home. And this is exactly what it says on the front of the postcard. It's time. We sold this one to make room for yours. If you'd like to know your home, what your home is worth, text your home address to Jackie's cell phone number. And here's why it's Jackie's cell phone number. Because if she gets a text with an address on it from a phone number, we have their phone number. We can look up the address and find out who they are if she doesn't have it in the database, but we do have it in the database. In the upper right-hand corner, it says we only work with 5 clients at a time because incredible services require incredible attention. Jackie Sosa and George Philbeck, basically Jackie Sosa and that guy standing behind her. On the back of the card, it says, thinking of buying? We can save you time and headaches, even with new construction. Call me now at Jackie's phone number. That's it. Doesn't change because I don't want it to change. The only thing that does change is this little banner up on top. This one says sold in Vizcaya. The other ones say new record in the community. Seller is elated. Buyer can't wait. And here's the beautiful part. Because I say we sold another home, Ken and everybody else, and Angela and Mike and everybody that's on the call, y'all can use my listing because we're all part of the same broker, and we is relevant. Do you see how you can put these out without really thinking about them? And once a month, this is how they sort in the garbage by the mail, by the way. It's like this. It's like trash, trash, trash. Oh, look, Jackie and that guy standing behind her sold another home. Trash. But what I'm looking for is that 3 seconds, that evidence of success. Holy cow, they're calling me once a month. I get an update from them once a month. They send me relevant information once a month. I happen to have a home search that shows up every Saturday in my email from them, so I get to see what's going on. They're really pretty active in the market, and look at them. They sell homes all the time. These are successful agents. It's evidence of success. No price, no address. You're not marketing a property, you're marketing you. And when you change your paradigm shift to reflect that, you realize that really what I'm doing is I want them to see that I sold another home. That's the whole purpose.
And if the colors don't change and the pictures of who's there doesn't change, it's just a house that's changing and a banner, then they recognize it and it sinks in every 3 seconds. That's another one, another one.
Yep.
Keeps you top of mind, right?
100%. You're absolutely right. And
Absolutely.
again, that's in the database class. That's inside the gpsglobalpartners.com. Everybody has access to it, along with the open house class, which is now 5 years old. I probably need to redo that for everybody.
So before we leave, Tiffany, I just want to say, if you've not joined the community at the workplace and you would like to do so, please, please, please do. And we have meetings every Tuesday and every Thursday at 1 o'clock. Next week on Tuesday, we have we're gonna have a section that's on how to get buyer brokers agreement sold, and one on certifications and how that can help your business, and a section on, oh, and what are the feds doing now? So join us if you would like. And on Thursday, we have a Tom Ferry coach talking about AIs, using AI in your marketing. So there, we've had some really, really good speakers. Randy yesterday was phenomenal, knocked it out of the park. And I know that George is friends with Don Hobbs, who ran a marketing company called Hobbs and Herder for years and years. And I know agents that went with their program and are multi-million dollar producers using his services. He is genius at marketing. So you don't want to miss him. So I've done my commercials.
You all get the emails on those every single morning at 8 o'clock. The emails come out. They talk about it, whether the class is at 8:30 or if the mastermind is at 8:30, the mastermind is at 1 o'clock. For the 1 o'clock classes, you'll get another text message that comes out as well. Excuse me, text message on both of those. That comes out at 12:30, just as a gentle reminder. I would absolutely put that on your calendar for Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're phenomenal, besides what we're doing on a regular basis here. Tiffany, I sent you a message. Please reply back to me via text on that message, because I've got to go back to prospecting. And
so
I
do
hope
I.
that you're doing the same.
Go do that. I'm going
Bye,
to do
guys.
that. All right, everybody. Thank you. Bye now.